Historically black colleges and universities have been the education foundation for black Americans over the years. These institutions help the pursuit of professional careers, earning graduate degrees, and advancing education. Sports is an integral part of the HBCU experience. Real sport conversations with icons going beyond the X's and O's. This is Historically Black, the HBCU footprint. So, Mac, we've been doing this for a while, this show.
Yes.
And we started this show because we wanted to focus on something that's important to both of us, which is the HBCU world, historically black, the HBCU footprint. The first guy I thought about, and just being a little biased, is a mentor of mine in so many ways, a guy that I looked up to while I was in college, and we then went on to the business world, things he's done, obviously, in the NFL. But we're so pleased to have on this show, four-time Super Bowl winner, Alabama A&M alumnus, I got to say that first.
Wow.
Man, NFL Hall of Famer, awesome business guy, and still doing great things with the Pittsburgh Steelers, John Stallworth. Hey, John, how you doing?
I am doing fine. Just pleased that I could be to have the opportunity to sit and chat with you guys for a little bit, and happy to be on the show.
Well, John, last time I saw you, well, it's been a while. You and we share the same thing. I see a little gray underneath your chin. I got a little gray underneath my chin as well. But hey, let's get started. So, from the beginning, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where the University of Alabama is located, but you ended up at Alabama A&M. Was there any interest from Alabama, given I know black players, that wasn't a thing during that time frame. Was there any interest in you during that time?
There was some interest. At that time, the University of Alabama was just sort of taking baby steps into bringing in black players. And so they were looking for guys from noted programs. My high school, although in Tuscaloosa, we were not prominent. We were one of the worst high school teams in the state. We won one game my junior year and one my senior year, and probably to the casual observer, it didn't look like there were a whole lot of football players on that high school team. So Alabama showed a little interest, not a lot. A&M, I think, made the assumption that I was going to an Alabama or another institution, didn't recruit me very heavily. And I made some steps to let the people at A&M know that I was interested in attending. And they responded, came down, signed me, and thus began my journey at Alabama A&M.
Man, that's a great story, talking about your journey at Alabama A&M. But talk about that period of time and going to an HBCU, the feeling that you had and making that choice. And then once you got there, getting a real understanding of what it was like. It said, I'm attending the HBCU, and how it's much different than maybe you had thought about it before.
Well, yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about black college football at all. I grew up again in Tuscaloosa, and as you would imagine, the news relative to football was dominated by what was going on at the University of Alabama, Coach Bear Bryant, and the teams that he had there. So I didn't know a whole lot about black college football. And I would have to admit to you guys, and Earl, I may have said this to you before, A&M was the only offer I got. I didn't get, I wasn't highly recruited. I didn't get the recruiters beating a path to my door to sign me to play football. A&M was the only offer I got. So it wasn't a whole lot of choices. And in hindsight, I am pleased as I can be for the way that it worked out. But I didn't have a whole lot of choices. So I wasn't familiar with black college football. I'd gone to a predominantly white high school in Tuscaloosa High School, played there 2 years. And so now I'm at A&M. And I have to admit, the environment was a little bit different than what I was used to.
Same with me. Going to high school was predominantly white. Same kind of situation.
You know, a different atmosphere in practice.
Mm,
It's and something I wasn't used to, but something I very quickly got used to. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the camaraderie that we experienced there. I enjoyed the campus life.
mm,
I enjoyed everything about it, and it was a garden that I could grow in and
Mm.
flourish in. And again, hindsight being what it is, I don't change a thing.
Wow.
I do not change a thing, and my experience at Alabama A&M helped to shape me and to mold me to be the man that I am. If you look at the things that have happened to me in my life, relative to football, relative to business, relative to relationships,
mm.
how you treat people, how you respond to people, all those things were nurtured and grown at Alabama A&M University, an HBCU.
Wow, just hearing you talk about being nurtured and growing and being cultivated by attending the HBCU, what is one of the things that you think contributes to that type of environment, that type of ecosystem, if you would, that lets lets that be possible?
You know, for me, and it may be a little bit different today, but for me, it was having an opportunity to see folks that look like me
Mm.
in various roles. You know, president of the university, VP, head football coach, people that have come through the institution who come back, who have gone out to do marvelous things in the medical field, in the business world. It was having an opportunity to see folks again that look like me doing great things, and so that opens up a world of possibilities. That a
Mm-hmm.
belief that it can be done. That there's something greater, and that there it can be accomplished by myself, a young black man, and matriculating through a historically black college.
That's funny you say that, John, because so Coach Cruz was your coach? If I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Was
That's
it Coach
correct.
Cruz? Yeah,
Yes.
who's Mac? He's a legendary coach. The,
Oh,
matter of fact, the
okay.
football stadium on campus is named after him.
Oh, well,
And
that'll do it.
now, did you go there as a running back or a wide receiver? Remind me.
I played running back in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I played running back primarily because we didn't have a quarterback. My high school coach told me, if you can be a receiver and we can put you out there, but we don't have anybody to throw you the football. So the best thing for you to do is to come into the backfield and we can hand it to you. And so I ended up playing running back in high school. But my passion has always been to be a receiver, to catch the football, and that's the way I always saw myself. So coming to A&M, I gravitated toward the receiver group, and Coach Cruz told me later on, maybe in my junior year, that they were going to let me try to play receiver, but they were going to eventually move me to running back. And but I guess I showed enough promise as a receiver that they let me stay out there.
Well, I get to their credit. How was the teams when you was there, John?
We had good teams. We won the conference championship
Mm,
my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
Was in the running for the conference championship my senior year. Off that team, with three of our running backs, the three starting running backs, all got an opportunity to play pro football. Ronnie Coleman, who played
Yes.
with the Oilers, Wayne Mosley, who played in Buffalo. Oliver Ross was drafted by Denver and played a year or two in Denver. Myself being a part of that group. So a number of guys got opportunities to go. And Nathaniel Jackson, Hilton Smith, Ronald Fox got
Yeah.
opportunities to play pro ball. So, you know, I'm not familiar with all the teams over the years that that were at Alabama A&M, but I think from one group of guys in a 3 or 4 year period to having that many guys to get the opportunity to play and stick with pro teams, that was probably not something that was normal.
John, did you have any idea that you was going to be drafted? I would love to hear about that process, and where and when you was going to be drafted.
You always speculate, right? I started getting visit from scouts my junior year, and that went on throughout the year, and I got even more visits and repeat visits my senior year. So I know the possibility exists, and my little, I guess 21-year-old ego thought, well, maybe I'll get drafted higher than I did.
Yeah.
But no idea where I was going to be drafted. I wanted to go to a team that threw the football.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got drafted by the Steelers, when I was drafted by the Steelers, fourth round, and my knowledge of the Steelers was they didn't throw the football, and they did. They ran the ball with Franco, and they played great defense. And so I'm a little bit upset that I went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wanted to go somewhere they threw the football, and it turned out well. So no idea that I was going to go to the Steelers. Looking back on it with the knowledge that I have now of scouts, we had a scout in the Pittsburgh organization by the name of Bill Nunn, who's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Bill was a sports editor and sports editor for the Pittsburgh Courier. During my time in college, the Pittsburgh Courier, and before that my time, Pittsburgh Courier named an All-American black college football team, and it was the team to make as far as black college football was concerned. So Nunn works for that organization. I made that All-American team my senior year. And so he has some insight into black colleges. And so he's bringing that knowledge to bear as a part of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. And so if you look at our teams during my tenure there, yes, and look at the number of black college players we had and small college players that we had, there are a number of us, Mel Blount being one, Ernie Holmes being another, L.C. Greenwood, Donnie Shell, who's in the Hall of Fame, being another, myself, Frank Lewis, who was the #1 draft choice out of Grambling, all from black colleges. And there are even more that I don't name. At this organization, Pittsburgh Steelers were at the forefront of signing players from black colleges. So that era when Bill Nunn was a force within the organization, Pittsburgh Steelers organization. So he was one of the scouts that was coming in, and he made repeat visits there. I knew him, but no sense of what that meant as far as an interest in me from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow,
man, that just listening to that, and I've always said that the Pittsburgh Steelers seem to have been and always have been intentional about a lot of things that they do, especially surrounding African Americans and minorities. And this is just another example of that. It appears that they were intentional about being able to recruit black players from HBCUs and having that. Did you guys notice that at the time that you were playing, that hey, this is a place that quite a few HBCU football players are coming to, and this means something special and it's different than anything else in the league?
Well, we had a sense of what we were doing. If you look back on our teams during the 70s, we had my rookie year, the first game of the season, our starting quarterback was a black quarterback from Tennessee State, Joe Gillum.
That's right.
And so Joe's our starting quarterback. Events kind of overwhelmed him, and Bradshaw eventually came back into it. But our starting quarterback is a black quarterback at a time when that's not normal, in the NFL. And so, you have a sense from that the coaches are open to players from wherever they came from. And I think that was Kevin. I think that was the deliberate part of it. that we were open as an organization for players who could play wherever they came from, and we knew they could come from different places, and we saw that by the makeup of the people of the guys that played on our football team. So we saw that. We came in, guys got opportunities, whether they were drafted or not drafted. Donnie Shell, undrafted, South Carolina State, comes in and does well special team wise, wins a starting job, maybe in his third year, and now is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So the opportunity exists. Chuck Noll made a statement early in his time that to his coaching staff and to anybody that was listening, that we were going to find good football players wherever they came from. And adding to that, and history has proven this out, that the ownership of the Pittsburgh Steelers were open to that. Dan Rooney was open to that, and a move to try to bring more black coaches into the coaching arena in pro football, NFL pro football, was forced by Dan Rooney. We now have the Rooney Rule.
That's right.
Which says that there was so many guys, and when you interview for a job, a head coaching job, that there has to be black candidates among those who are being interviewed. So that speaks for our organization. That speaks for our ownership. That speaks for our coaches. That speaks for our coaching staff. So, and that's a long answer to your question. So yes, we were deliberate. We were looking for players wherever they came from.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's long, but great answer. So let's go back on the field for a minute. I mean, you were special. You had special players you played with, but you stood out. Obviously, had our interest being from A&M and watch you play all the time. Just talk about the Super Bowls you playing in, and give us a couple of memories that you have that kind of stands out in your mind relative to the Super Bowls you played in, John.
Well, Earl, we went to the Super Bowl my rookie year. We played the Minnesota Vikings. We were a very, very good defensive ball club, and we were not known for throwing the football at all. We ran the football. We had a very good running back who's now in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Franco Harris, with an excellent offensive line. And so we ran the football. We shut down the Minnesota Vikings in that game. I think receivers for us may have, if you caught 2 or 3 passes during the course of the game, you were one of the leading receivers for the team.
Wow.
And I was fortunate enough to catch a pass in the Super Bowl, which kind of blew me away. I remember looking back on that Super Bowl thinking, 1 year ago from that date in 1975 was after the 74 season. I was at A&M, watching the Super Bowl. So here I am now. I'm playing in the Super Bowl, and so that was kind of neat about that. My second year, we go to a Super Bowl. We play the Dallas Cowboys. Excellent game for us. Still that dominating defense. Offense is starting to diversify a little bit, and we're running the football. Passing the football. Swan has an excellent game. His name MVP. I'm starting on the other side, and I'm still trying to work my way into Bradshaw's consciousness.
Yes.
He was a guy. He was right-handed, and that's where he was going to look. I was on the left side, so I kind of was left out of that, but starting to develop, starting to get his attention. By the time we get to our 4th Super Bowl and Super Bowl 13, it is my 5th year in the league. I'm starting, really good season, got Bradshaw's attention, have excellent game the first half. Second half, I went down with cramps. Did not play the second half, but in the first half, I caught 3 passes, 2 for touchdowns, and about 140 something yards in reception. So
Yeah.
What was a good game for me. Next year we go back. This is now our fourth Super Bowl. We play the Rams. Uh, I have a really good game again in the fourth quarter. Was able to catch a 73-yarder to go as a go-ahead touchdown in that game, and came back with another about 50-yard reception to kind of seal the win. So, really good games. What stands out in my mind, I guess, is the maybe the whole experience, the guys I played with, the bonding that went on with that group of guys and still exists with that group of guys, the learning experiences and having gone through the ups and downs of a pro career and trying to bounce back and bouncing back from that, the ups and downs of a winning it all and then not making the playoffs. Some of that. But a grand experience and a lot of growth for me over a 14-year career.
Well, I tell you, you went through that. Thank you for that. But the Rams Super Bowl, you on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and the catches you made.
Yeah.
What was that play? Give me the name of one of those plays, in particular the one of the catch that was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. What was that play?
It was a play we called 60 prevent slot hook and go, which doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody. But the design of the play was that because of I'm being double covered the whole game, Swan's being double covered the whole game, so we knew that was going to happen, and so it was going to make things tight as far as the intermediate routes, the 15, 20 yarders that we made a lot of heyday with. So we put in that play with the guy in the slot that was me on those particular plays would go down maybe 15, 16 yards and turn to fake a hook, hoping early, as you know, to draw the defensive back in and then to turn and go deep. And so play worked to perfection. We were able to do that twice in the fourth quarter. They've been, and I can't say that the move was great, because I didn't think the guy on my inside, they were playing what we call an in and out coverage, one guy on my right, one guy on my left, and to take away anything to the inside or anything to the outside, leaving the deep part of the field open. So the guy on my inside, when I got 15, 16 yards, I didn't see him. So now I don't need to fake the hook. I just need to do the go part, So I continue running. Bradshaw throws the ball. I look back at my initial response to seeing the flight of the ball was, darn it, Bradshaw, you've overthrown me.
Yep.
And so I turn and run to try to make up a little bit of ground, then turn back. When I turn back, I want the ball coming over my outside shoulder. When I come back, I saw that the trajectory of the ball was going to put it over my inside shoulder. So I had to turn a little bit, just pivot my head and shoulders a bit to catch the ball. So now I'm catching the ball over the wrong shoulder, but was fortunate enough to come up with the catch and to take it in for a touchdown.
That was the most difficult catch I ever seen, but on the biggest stage ever, huh, Mac?
Man, the largest stage ever, trust me. Well, look, we're up against it, man. We're going to have to let you get out of here. But I just want to get you just 30 seconds. Tell me about induction into the Hall of Fame and what that felt like.
Okay, Mac, that was, the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae. It was in my mind an acknowledgement that what I did as a profession for 14 years, people saw and people appreciated. My team, I went through my 14-year career wanting certainly more than anything else that for my teammates to feel that what I was doing was a factor in our success. And to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame was that saying that other folks saw that the folks that were watching who were not a part of our organization saw that, and it was an acknowledgement that the efforts that I made to stay on the field, to play when I was injured, the performances that I had in Super Bowls and other games during the course of a 14 career was deemed to be worthy to be for me to be named among the best guys that did it in the history of the National Football League. I saw something the other day that there's like 360 something guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there's something like 23,000 guys that have played the game.
Wow.
So out of 23,000 guys that have played the game, there are 350 so that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it's humbling, it's overwhelming to be a part of that group, and even more so, I think from my standpoint, when we talk about black colleges, that we were able to do that coming out of a black college. I think it lends value to that experience, and I do hope that my having come out of A&M will show guys that that's the case. And I think right now you're looking at, I think there's a resurgence of athletes wanting to attend black colleges, and I hope and pray that continues.
It truly is.
Well, let me say this, John. We wanted this interview to be focused on you, your career. We could talk a whole hour and a half about all the stuff you do in the community, your business, and maybe at some point down the line we'll do that. But we want to thank you so much. You've been a true just trailblazer down for black men, but black people that went to HBCUs. You was exemplary and represent the footprint of the HBCU and what you're doing now and things you're going to do in the future. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate you.
Well, Earl, guys, both of you, thank you for the opportunity. And Earl, can you still go to the post, man, or can you still run a post route?
Yeah, hey, I can run that post corner all day long, John. You still owe me $2 from the last practice we had.
Hey man, y'all be good.
All right, take care, man. We'll see you.